Hello everyone. So today's video will be all about how to get a job in the United States of America. Now before we move on to our main topic, I would like to say there are multiple aspects that I've taken into consideration before being offered a job in US. For example, which industry are you currently working in? If you're from an IT field or you have a computer science background, your chances of getting a job in this country increase. Or an example could be, are you applying for an L1 visa or are you trying to pull in the H1B lottery? These are just a few examples out of many that are considered before offering a job. Since it's a small video, I will be taking the general approach which is used in most cases and is followed by many who are trying to get a job here. So let's get started. So mainly there are 3 to 4 ways to do that. One is intercompany transfer or client projects. Second could be coming here as a student on F1 visa followed by working, and thirdly could be directly getting hired by a US company who is ready to sponsor your visa. Let's start with the most common one, working for companies who can sponsor your work visa. Now when I say work visa here, I'm talking about 2 main visa categories. One is L1, which is sponsored when there is an intercompany transfer. For example, if an employee of a Google office in India is being transferred to a Google office in US, this is called intercompany transfer, and in this case L1 visa is issued. Then the next one is H1B visa. This work permit is given to employees who are coming to US for client projects. Well, there are many other employees who come under the category of H1B visa. We will not get into the details right now because it will get confusing. And if you want me to make a video on different types of visas, their requirements, and how to fall into those categories, let me know in the comment section and I'll be happy to make a video on that. For now, I will only tell you one key difference between L1 visa and H1B visa is that H1B visa is lottery based. Every year out of lakhs of applicants, only 85,000 applications are selected, while on L1 visa there is no such limitation cap. Now coming back to a main point, working for global companies who can sponsor your work visa. There can be 2 scenarios here. One, get a job in an MNC in your home country, which might increase your chances for internal transfer and get sponsored for an L1 visa. Let me give you an example here. Companies like Amazon, Google, Facebook, they have the headquarters in US, which requires them to transfer some of their employees from overseas and get them here to work in their US offices. Not just that, in fact, companies like Cognizant, TCS, they actively make some intercompany transfers in their workplace. In fact, I would say TCS has one of the highest numbers of employees working on L1 visa in US. So there's that. Now this brings us to the second scenario. Some companies like TCS, Wipro, Infosys, they have their headquarters in India, but their client projects are spread across the globe, thus opening the opportunities for their employees to come overseas and work on client projects. These companies actively sponsor H1B visas for their employees. Now coming on to how it works. Well, honestly, this is something I cannot talk much about. It largely depends on the company, how many projects they have running abroad, how many projects do they actively require sponsored workforce for. Then there could be your field of work, the projects you're already working on. These are just a few points out of many. I would say it largely depends on the internal dynamics of your workplace. So it's something for you to figure out how to pave a path for yourself while being inside the company. Maybe discuss it with your manager or try being on board on projects that have higher chances of flying you abroad. Here's a link that can be helpful. You can click on this link and check the companies with most H1B filings. We have Infosys Limited here, we have TCS. They've also mentioned the average salary. So this link might be helpful for you guys. You can check this link. I'll be attaching it in the description box below, so you can check that out. Again, this is something that you have to figure out and make the best use of the opportunity. Now moving on to our next option, working as a student on F1 visa. So when international students complete their education in this country, they are allowed to work in this country on OPT, which means optical practical training. It's a period where undergrad students and grad students can work in this country for a period of 1 year. Well, having said that, if your field of study falls under the category of STEM, your period can be extended up to 3 years. By STEM, I mean if you're majoring in science, technology, engineering or mathematics, you'll get additional 2 years of practice in this country. Unfortunately, for non-STEM category, the maximum period that you can get here to work is 1 year. Well, the good news is what students can do in this situation, or I'd rather rephrase it, what most students do in this situation while being on OPT is try to search for jobs in companies that actively sponsor H-1B visa. So this is how they convert their F1 visa to H-1B visa. Simple. Now, next question arises, how to find a job as a student. One of the best ways to find jobs as a student is through career fairs. I cannot stress this enough, but career fairs are a great opportunities for all the undergrad and grad students who are trying to find a job in this country. Most colleges organize these fairs roughly every semester or maybe after every year. Many companies participate in these events, thus giving an opportunity to students to talk to their representatives, to understand their requirements, and even apply for the interviews there and then. You can always ask your school's career services to provide you with a list of companies who hire international students. Best part about college career services is that in most colleges they provide you with free workshops on how to write a good resume. So if you're a student, don't ever miss out on those sessions. And this brings us to the importance of a good resume. Good resume can either break or make your chances of getting a good job. So if you guys want me to make a video on how to write a good resume, or just want me to share some tips or tricks, let me know in the comment section. Here's a tip that I would like to share with the students who are on OPT and are running out of time to land a job in this country. If you're not able to get into blue chip companies, you can always look out for vacancies in medium-sized companies or even startups. Due to shortage of qualified staff there, some of them even hire international students, and some companies even sponsor H-1B visas for their employees. So you might want to check on those options too. So here's a link to a website that I found and I thought it might be helpful to you guys. It's called optnation.com. Now I'm sure if you Google it up, you'll find multiple websites that are running with the same concept. So you might want to check your options. Just give me a second and I'll show it to you guys. Here we go. I hope it is visible. So yeah, you can find here companies who hire international students on OPT and file for their H-1B visas. There's Google here, there's Amazon, there's TCS. There are some other employers also who hire international students. There's Intel, there's Tesla, there's eBay, there's Cloud Particle, there's Nemo IT Solutions. They have a long list of companies or employers who hire international students. So this is a pretty helpful website. Not just that, you can even look for OPT jobs and CPT jobs in US. There's even a forum here. You can post questions or ask anything. So I found this website to be really helpful, especially if you're a student. I'll attach this link in the description box below, so you might want to check out. Now, moving on to our next possible method. It's to get hired directly by a US company who's ready to sponsor your visa while you being in your home country. Now, this can be a little difficult, especially if you're not physically present in this country to apply for a job. Now, if you talk about how likely it is that you find a job in America while you being outside of the country, the chances are less. If you're outside of US, you will need H-1B visa employment to enter the US job market. Given the current lottery system, it can take anywhere from 1 year to 4 years for you to obtain a work visa. And in this case, most companies cannot wait for this long, and hence they just lose interest. So in these scenarios, websites like simplyhire.com or Indeed might be helpful to some extent. You can find job postings that sponsor H-1B visas on these websites. Another way to reach out is by connecting through LinkedIn. Believe it or not, but LinkedIn is one of the best portals where you can connect with business professionals and pave your path inside the job market. But you really have to be careful with LinkedIn as you do not want to spam all those people. Now let's talk about referrals. How important are referrals to get a job in America? To answer this question, I would say if you're applying for a job right after college, or you're already a working professional and looking for a job switch in US, referrals have a vital role to play. It is very difficult to get a job without having referrals on your resume. My advice would be to reach out to your friends or acquaintances who are already working in US and ask them if they're willing to refer you for a job in this country. I know all of these visas and job hunts and everything can be really intimidating, but guess what? These are the times of testing, and you mustn't lose focus or fall for any of the scams. And when I say scams, this is what I'm talking about. There are a number of small firms that are operating and they claim to offer H-1B sponsorship. In recent years, there have been a number of incidents where people paid ample amount of money to these companies in a promise of getting sponsorship in return. However, they did not receive any sponsorship, and at the end they were left with no sponsorship and no money. There are multiple stories online which you can read, stories of people who fell for these scams and ended up being the victims of these frauds. So I finished shooting my video, and after that I was reading this article, and I realized I should really share it with you guys. So I'll be recording this video and attaching this one to the original one that I recorded. So this article is about a fake university that was created in Michigan. The name of the university was University of Farmington. It was a big scam. As per the reports, more than 250 students who were enrolled in this school were arrested. Now, I will not get into the details of this incident, as there are many facts that are still hidden, or at least I will say I'm not aware of. But one thing that I read, and I found that to be really unfortunate, was that there were some students who legally came to this country as students with the hope of getting quality education. They did not even know that they were falling into a trap, and the university that they chose to study was fake. They ended up being arrested. They lost their money, their time, and more importantly, their education and their careers took a massive hit. The reason I wanted to share it with you guys, because I wanted you to know that not only companies who are offering jobs pull these kind of scams, there are fake universities too who lure in the students with fake promises. To know if a university is actually good or is there anything fishy, there are a few warning signs that you might want to take a look at. Number one could be fake universities will always lack a recognized or proper accreditation. Second could be if a university is asking you to pay a lump sum amount upfront, you might want to heed with caution. Traditionally, institutions do not require you to pay lump sum amount upfront. They'll charge you semester wise or even class wise. So if a university is asking you to pay a lump sum amount upfront, you might want to heed with caution. Third point could be if an institution promises you that they'll help you complete your degree within a short span of time, a typical degree that takes like 3 to 4 years to complete, and they promise you that they'll help you complete that in a few months, I would say that you might want to double check. Fourth point could be insufficient contact details. If an institution lacks basic information on their website, like maybe legitimate address or a phone number, that's a big warning sign. So you might want to take a step back from that. So these are just a few warning signs to check if the university is actually good or is there anything fishy going on in there. So what I'm trying to tell you is just be cautious, do your research, be thorough with your research and choose wisely. So this brings us to the end of the video. If you have any feedback, you can always write that down in the comment section. If you like the video, do not forget to hit like button and also subscribe to my channel. See you next time. Until then, bye bye.